This video is brought to you by catbeast.com. Design your own custom snapbacks and hats.
What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Thank you so very much for tuning back into the channel on this Tuesday evening, September 5th, 2017. This is your official SmackDown Live review for tonight's show. And I got to get it out there, man. I know a lot of you guys are disappointed in the format that was SmackDown Live tonight. And if you expected wrestling on tonight's show, you pretty much got none of that during a 2-hour program. You'd be lucky if you seen maybe 20 minutes of wrestling, the majority of which was Shinsuke Nakamura and Randy Orton in the main event. But normally, I would come on here and rant about the lack of wrestling that we seen on tonight's show. I will do no such thing. I'm not going to rant, I'm not going to bitch, I'm not going to moan, I'm not going to complain. There's a reason why. And I gotta give at least some credit to WWE. I am okay with the amount of space that they have between pay-per-views. We just left SummerSlam a couple weeks ago, and now we have all this time from SummerSlam until October 8th. WWE doesn't have a pay-per-view for SmackDown Live. So, the reason why they did tonight's show, which was more promo-heavy, is to pretty much get us to Sin City SmackDown next Tuesday on September 12th. I am okay with that. As long as they're building to something big, I am okay with tonight's promo-heavy show. And next week's show is looking very, very good. It reminds me of the last episode of SmackDown Live for December 2016. If you guys remember, coming out of TLC in 2016, which seen Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles in a TLC match for the WWE Championship. That was a SmackDown branded pay-per-view in 2016. This year, it's a Raw branded exclusive pay-per-view. TLC last year for SmackDown was the first week of December. I believe it was December 3rd. December 4th, somewhere around there. That's about the ballpark where it was. And they had no pay-per-view at all leading up to the Royal Rumble. That was it for them. So what did WWE do? They built a pay-per-view worthy SmackDown 4 weeks before we got to the Royal Rumble. That I can appreciate. That's the type of stuff that I would do if I'm booking SmackDown Live. If you got all this time in between, and you got this daunting pay-per-view calendar staring you in the face, and you know that you have no pay-per-view from SmackDown all the way until October 8th, you gotta keep us interested in something. You gotta book to keep people invested, especially with football starting next week. So what did they do? They built this entire show to lead into Sin City SmackDown. That I can appreciate. And the fact that the Mae Young Classic Finals, which, thank you to those bad seeds that spoiled the finals for me before I watched episode number 5, 6, 7, and 8. I greatly appreciate your, your bullshit on my channel. Thank you so very much. Because when I seen spam and comments for review on my channel, there were a few fucking assholes that ruined the finals of the Mae Young Classic for me, knowing that I didn't watch it yet. So thank you so very much. The finals will be taking place next week. I'm not going to ruin it for the rest of you. I know who it is. Kind of had an idea who it was going to be anyway, but I'm not going to ruin it for the rest of you guys. The finals will be taking place next week, I believe, after SmackDown Live. I don't know what they're doing with 205 Live, but next week, Sin City SmackDown is being built around 3 championship matches on SmackDown Live and the finals for the Mae Young Classic. I hope Las Vegas brings a ton of energy, because I don't want the finals for the Mae Young Classic to be swallowed by casual WWE trash when they could have easily done it next week on Wednesday at Full Sail University, live, just like they did the Cruiserweight Classic Finals. So that's the reason for tonight's show. It was supposed to be a wrestling-heavy show. SmackDown's known to be the wrestling-heavy show. They pretty much took the week off. They tried to build you up and intrigue you with dialogue and storylines and this and that, all leading to SmackDown Live next week. So I'm not going to bitch and moan about that. I thought they did an admirable job tonight on SmackDown Live. But the big thing is Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. That's the big thing that we're going to talk about on tonight's SmackDown Live review. Also, the main event between Shinsuke Nakamura and Randy Orton. I also have thoughts on that. Ty Dillinger, Baron Corbin, and AJ Styles. Something happened tonight that I'm very, very happy about, and hopefully WWE capitalizes on this. Sami Zayn's further burial on SmackDown Live. A Bobby Roodeless fucking SmackDown Live tonight. So, there's a lot to go over on tonight's show, man. Let's get right into it. Before I do that, if you missed Monday Night Raw review, that is live on the channel right now. Make sure you guys go and check that out. Almost an hour of WWE talk as we talk about Monday Night Raw last night. Braun Strowman getting ready for Brock Lesnar, puts Big Show through a steel cage. We talk about the John Cena Roman Reigns stuff. We talk about the Jeff Hardy Miz Intercontinental Championship situation. And a bunch of other shit, man. John Cena versus Jason Jordan on last night's show. If you guys missed any of that, link will be within this video in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of your screen. If you missed it, if you haven't watched it yet, if you're too busy to watch it yet, it's there. Easy access for you. Make sure you guys go and check that out and leave a thumbs up and show some support for the Monday Night Raw review. Speaking of the Mae Young Classic, I got 2 videos live on the channel right now for the Mae Young Classic. I got a review for episode number 1, and then I did a review for episodes 2 and 3. Both of those videos will be linked with the Monday Night Raw review video within this video. Make sure you guys go and check those out. We talk about literally the entire first round so far, up until episode number 3 of the Mae Young Classic. I just got done watching episode number 4. Today, I'm going to try and tackle 5, 6, 7, and 8 all this week, and I'm going to bundle all that up into one video and give you guys a huge review of the final 4 episodes of the Mae Young Classic before we get to the finals next week for the Mae Young Classic. So we'll talk about all that stuff this weekend. Hopefully all of that stuff will be up before the end of the weekend, so look forward to that. And if you missed Off the Script this weekend as well, that is live on the channel right now. We talk about the Reigns, Cena stuff. We talk about the Sexy Star, Rosemary situation, Dolph Ziggler possibly leaving the WWE, Sasha Banks and my disappointment in how WWE and Monday Night Raw is booking her, as well as JBL leaving the SmackDown Live commentary team. Speaking of that, we'll start the review off with that. Corey Graves, his first night on the job for SmackDown Live, and I gotta say, man, I love Corey Graves. I don't mind seeing Corey Graves do anything on WWE, whether it's be that fucking stupid podcast show that he's got with Peter Rosenberg and JBL. I forgot the name of it, but that's how irrelevant it is to me. Behind the mic or some shit like that, whatever the fuck it is. Bring it to the table. That's what it is. Bring it to the table. I don't mind him on stuff like that. I don't mind watching him on the network do his own shows for tattoos. I don't mind him on Monday Night Raw. I don't mind him on NXT. I wish he was all over the fucking place because he's that damn good. And I said it on Twitter tonight. If you guys are not following me on Twitter, please do so, at JDFROMNY206. I said it on Twitter tonight, man. Corey Graves is so multi-talented, and it's great to see where he was when he was wrestling down in NXT, and then they told him he couldn't wrestle anymore due to concussion after concussion after concussion. And then he was given a new role with the WWE, and the new role was being a color commentator for NXT. And I remember as if it was yesterday, his first day on the job, his new line of work, being on NXT's commentary team, how nervous he was, how he really didn't fit. His voice didn't fit with what was going on. And as weeks went on, he just developed this personality, and he became that Jesse Ventura-esque type heel color commentator that we needed so desperately in WWE. You know? Obviously, nobody's going to replace a Bobby Heenan or a Jesse Ventura from back in the old school days. But somebody who is sarcastic, someone who is witty, someone who can think quick on his feet and give you a jab right back. Somebody who is, you know, playing the heel role, and you know he's playing a heel commentator. Until shit really goes fucking crazy, and some wild shit goes on, like Braun Strowman destroying a Monday Night Raw set, or Braun Strowman throwing Roman Reigns off the fucking stage, or Braun Strowman throwing Roman Reigns through the LED boards on the stage, or some bullshit going on that's just, just wild and crazy, Then he plays the median role. But Corey Graves is so great at what he does, I'm happy to see him on SmackDown Live. He adds that dynamic that SmackDown Live needed so much. And we were all wondering, maybe they could get somebody else to fill in for him. Maybe it could be David Otunga, God forbid. Maybe it could be Jerry the King Lawler. Maybe it could be Renee Young. People were petitioning for Renee Young to be the one to replace JBL on SmackDown Live, even with no experience. I'm glad that they went with Corey Graves to replace JBL. It made sense. It really does. He does 205 Live anyway. You might as well have him on SmackDown Live. Right? You're going to have him on Monday Night Raw. You're going to have him on SmackDown Live. You're going to have him do 205 Live. It's really a testament to the guy's work. They put him in that role because he's that damn good. If he wasn't that damn good, he wouldn't be on Raw, 205 Live, and SmackDown Live. And the other thing, Tom Phillips didn't feed off JBL all that well. He's okay with Byron Saxton. Byron Saxton's kind of growing on me. He's not as bad as he was on Monday Night Raw. He's more tolerable on SmackDown Live. But Tom Phillips really didn't have anybody to really enhance his work. So Corey Graves being there with Tom Phillips kind of gives me that old NXT vibe, man. I like that. Tom Phillips works better with Corey Graves, and Corey Graves works great with Tom Phillips. So this is a win-win situation for everybody. We don't mind hearing and seeing Corey Graves, and I'm sure Tom Phillips and SmackDown Live don't mind having Corey Graves on their announce team. So it's a win-win situation for everybody, and congratulations to him, man. He's in high demand, and the body of work that he's done since he's come to WWE's commentary team has been absolutely tremendous, man. And I use him as an influence, too, because I'm trying to get into the commentary gig. I do this stuff for House of Glory, as you guys know, and I use Corey Graves as a direct influence on me as well. Guys like Corey Graves, guys like Mauro Ranallo, guys like Matt Stryker. Those are the guys I look to, and I look forward to hearing to make me a better commentator. So congratulations to Corey Graves. That was absolutely a fantastic decision made by WWE to include him on SmackDown Live. Speaking of SmackDown Live, man, the show opened up with Carmella and James Ellsworth in the middle of the ring, okay? Before that, we got Randy Orton saying that he's seen a bunch of stars come and go, and Nakamura is nothing new, and literally he has to beware of the RKO because it literally comes out of nowhere. Nakamura said that he is chasing his destiny, and his destiny is the WWE Championship. Decent promos, but too little too late. You're not going to sell me on two decent promos to start this show on a match that has absolutely no build. So, sorry, Road Dogg. You're not going to get me there, bro. You're not going to get me there. Carmella and James Ellsworth, or Ellsworthless, rather, back in the ring. Apparently, she was supposed to have a match with Natalya. Kevin Owens comes out and interrupts Carmella and James Ellsworthless, of all people, and says that the match that Carmella is about to have with Natalya, he is actually going to be the referee of this match. Which I absolutely laughed out loud, man. I LOL'd at Kevin Owens because it just literally came out of nowhere. Carmella's looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing here? And James Ellsworth has that James Ellsworthless has that dumbfounded look on his face. Kevin Owens says, I'm sorry to interrupt here. I'm sure whatever you had to say was going to be of great importance. Kevin Owens was fucking sarcastic. And he says that he's going to be the referee of tonight's match between Natalya and Carmella. So out comes Shane McMahon and says that this isn't happening again. He's not going to let Owens take over the show like he did last week, or take over the match with Baron Corbin last week like he did. And he's certainly not having Owens become a referee. Shane talks about Owens blaming him for all of his problems. They even go back and they actually mention Kevin Owens, wanting to be on Raw, coming over from Monday Night Raw to come to SmackDown Live to ultimately get screwed. Owens feels like he should have never left Monday Night Raw. Shane McMahon, and they scripted this very nicely, man, and I was hoping that they would talk about this and actually bring this to everybody's attention. They didn't really dive too deep into it, but they brought up, Kevin Owens pretty much being gifted, the Universal Championship on Monday Night Raw by Triple H. Now, they didn't dive into it any more than just name-dropping Triple H and, pretty much saying Kevin Owens was gifted the Universal Championship after Kevin Owens says that he should have never left Monday Night Raw. He doesn't understand why he was ever traded or shifted from Raw to SmackDown, ultimately to get screwed by Shane McMahon. Owens thinks that this is all about Shane wanting attention from his father. That's why he brings out his kids and has them dance around during his entrance. That was a major, major no-no for Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon got directly into Kevin Owens' face and says, "Do not mention my kids ever again." People were tweeting me, asking me if that was legit. People were tweeting me, asking me if that was scripted into the show. Of course it was scripted into the show. Of course they got to go to that next layer. They got to go to that next level, They already battled it out over Kevin Owens being screwed. They argued over Kevin Owens being screwed. He had multiple shots at the United States Championship. He won it once, and then he got ultimately screwed time and time again. So they're shifting away from the wrestling portion of it now, and they're adding another layer on top of this cake, and that layer is now getting personal by name-dropping Triple H and Kevin Owens being gifted the Universal Championship, and name-dropping or using now Shane's family in this entire storyline to give it that little personal taste, So I don't mind that whatsoever. This is exactly what the feud needs. Because if you look at it from a spectator on the outside looking in, it's another one of these authority figures versus a WWE superstar, which has been done to death every single fucking year. It's always somebody. It's an authority figure versus who's next in line to feud with an authority figure. But at least this time, it's between two likable characters on WWE television and not an authority figure that we can't stand and a wrestler that's just fucking hated by everybody. We all love Shane McMahon. I don't have a problem with Shane McMahon. I love Shane McMahon. I think he's great. I love Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has got the attitude, he's got the heel-like mentality to play a perfect role in this entire storyline. Shane McMahon is a lunatic. Shane McMahon is a fighter. Shane McMahon will do anything to get a pop out of the WWE audience. And the fact that we got Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon here, the promise of this feud is really, really high right now. This is something that we discussed a couple of years back. They got into it just a little bit. The seeds were planted many, 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 many months ago. And now we're finally seeing Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens come to heads on SmackDown Live. But Owens mentioned his family. Shane McMahon says that's a no-no. That was a major red line for Shane McMahon. So Owens talks about Shane diving off the cell and surviving a helicopter crash. He starts, doing the little kid voice. "Oh, Daddy, look at me. I can fly off the Hell in a Cell, man. Oh, Daddy, look at me. I can fall from a helicopter and survive, man." So Shane's whole family, this is where things get volcanic. Kevin Owens says that Shane's whole family would have been better off if he didn't survive the helicopter crash, including his kids. So what do you think happens? They start brawling on the outside. Owens gets knocked to the outside. He gets knocked over the announcer's table. What a welcoming committee here for Corey Graves on SmackDown Live. So Shane starts throwing punches. Kevin Owens is getting his ass kicked. We got officials. We got higher-ups. We got fucking Daniel Bryan coming out. Shane McMahon was about to throw punches at Daniel Bryan until he recognized who he was. Daniel Bryan's trying to calm him down. A whole volcanic situation here for Owens and Shane McMahon. So that pretty much ended that. So Owens is being helped to the back, and he runs into Daniel Bryan backstage. Owens says that this is really going to become the Kevin Owens show on SmackDown Live because he's going to sue the McMahon family for everything that they have. Daniel says that there has to be something else Owens can do, so Kevin says he'll just press criminal charges against Shane McMahon and his family instead. So Kevin Owens now is playing the victim card because now he's got Shane in the palm of his hands. He coerced Shane McMahon into doing something that shouldn't have been done. An authority figure putting their hands on a WWE employee, and Kevin Owens now is playing the victim card here after being royally fucked, he feels, by Shane McMahon. The logic gaps in this storyline already. And I don't want to harp on it. I don't want to fucking be that guy to nitpick, because I know there'll be some fucking asshole in the comment section. Oh, JD, why are you so negative, man? The logic gaps are there, clown. Okay? How many times has Stephanie McMahon slapped a WWE employee on Monday Night Raw? No repercussions were made. There's no consequences to be had. Right? Randy Orton burns down a fucking house with Bray Wyatt in it, and he gets a fucking title shot. Right? He commits arson, burns down a fucking building with a WWE employee inside. Right? We got Roman Reigns committing, or at least committing attempted murder on Braun Strowman, and then being gifted a SummerSlam main event for the Universal Championship. But Shane McMahon is defending the honor of his family, and he ultimately gets suspended on SmackDown Live. The logic gaps are there. Don't tell me, oh, Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman, they're two WWE talents, it doesn't make a difference. Roman Reigns, per storyline, tried to commit murder, you fucking retard. If that doesn't mean suspension, I don't know what does. Certainly doesn't mean, hey, here you go, Roman, it's a WWE Universal Championship match. You almost killed the best thing on our show. You know? Randy Orton burning down Bray Wyatt's compound. Stephanie McMahon slapping literally everybody on the Monday Night Raw roster when she's there. Right? Give me a break. Give me a break. Logic gaps. And they're big ones. Big enough for you to fall through. But I'm going to overlook it. I don't believe I'm saying that. I'm going to overlook it. Because I appreciate what WWE is doing here. They're adding new layers on top of the storyline. And I'd wish they'd do this with everything else on SmackDown Live. You know, WWE has a tendency to put all their eggs in one basket. They focus their attention on one thing instead of spreading their attention out through most of the show. Right? Where the fuck's Bobby Roode at? Wasn't on the show. Not that I mind, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. You know, but where's Rusev? You know, what about Mojo Rawley? Yeah, Mr. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. Not that I give a fuck, but, you know, you want to harp on him winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Some Battle Royal victor you got there, right? Usos weren't on tonight's show. Sami Zayn continues to get buried. AJ Styles didn't wrestle on tonight's show. You know, Baron Corbin's still a fucking loser on this show after dropping the briefcase and losing in 3 seconds. There's not really much else going on SmackDown Live. Did I mention Rusev? Where the fuck is Rusev at? Seriously. You know? But WWE, when they want to do something good, normally they focus all their attention on that one thing and everything else suffers. And that's exactly what they're doing here. This storyline is very, very good. And they're adding new layers to it to make it interesting and keep it interesting week by week by week. Now, the newest layer is this. Kevin Owens suing the McMahon family, or suing Shane McMahon, prompting Vince McMahon to come back, right? So after all of this, Daniel Bryan is in the ring, and he explains that he got a phone call from Vince McMahon. He got a phone call from Shane McMahon's father. And Shane McMahon is now indefinitely suspended on WWE programming. Vince McMahon is going to be in Las Vegas next week. And you know when Vince McMahon is there, this storyline is going to take precedent over everything else. Because that's the way Vince McMahon operates. Only for the best, right? Only for the best of the show. Only for the better interest of Shane McMahon. The McMahons, it's so funny, man. This show is suffering week by week. And the McMahon family still makes themselves the most important thing on this show. I don't get it. I really don't understand it. Everything else that this show has, SmackDown has some of the best fucking talent on the company, on this roster. And the biggest storyline right now in the company, you know, being that Shane McMahon was suspended tonight, the biggest storyline in the fucking company right now is Shane McMahon and revolves around the McMahon family. I don't don't get it. I really don't get it. You know, not that maybe we shouldn't mind it as long as we're entertained, but it's a common theme every single fucking year. Whether it's at WrestleMania, whether it's something like this, the McMahons always got to be top priority over their actual fucking talent. So Shane McMahon is suspended. Vince McMahon's going to be on SmackDown Live next week. He's suspended indefinitely. Shane McMahon explains that when, his family is being talked about, he goes into a blind rage, which any man would. Roderick Strong did it, right? Daniel Bryan would have done it. Shane McMahon even said, try wearing, my pair of shoes, or whatever the hell he said. Try wearing, or walking around in my shoes and see how you feel. You're a father now. You got your own kid. How would you feel if somebody, threw your family out there like that? And Daniel Bryan said, listen, I don't want you to explain that to me. The Miz was talking about how I would never wrestle again, and he was poking me every single week, and it went on and on and on and on. Daniel Bryan explained, why, you didn't think I wanted to kick this guy's fucking head off? I restrained myself, and the reason why I restrained myself is because you told me to be professional and put the WWE first. So Daniel Bryan says that you gotta sit back and you gotta be responsible and you gotta be professional. Shane McMahon taught him that, but Shane McMahon didn't heed his own words that he bestowed upon Daniel Bryan. It ultimately led to his suspension. So Vince McMahon, via telephone to Daniel Bryan, suspends his son from his commissioner job on SmackDown Live. So Shane McMahon is no more. Now, where does this story go from here? I could see Shane McMahon doing one of these deals where he buys a ticket into the show to get his hands on Kevin Owens. I can ultimately see this leading. I hope it doesn't really lead to Hell in a Cell, but I have a feeling it will because, they want to pop that big moment. Shane McMahon jumped off the cell during the match with The Undertaker, so I'm assuming they're going to try and do something like that in this feud with Kevin Owens just to prove a point. But I would extend it even further than that. I would go to Survivor Series. I would have Shane McMahon win his job back through a traditional Survivor Series match, 5-on-5. I would have Kevin Owens come up with 4 men to back him in this feud with Shane McMahon. And I would have Shane McMahon assemble a team of his 4 guys in which he's able to compete on. So it's a traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. And if Shane McMahon wins the Survivor Series match, I would have Shane McMahon win his job back as SmackDown Live Commissioner. That's how I would book it. How you get there is anybody's guess, but I'm assuming WWE is going to go into Hell in a Cell with this, because Shane McMahon, Hell in a Cell, it's like fucking a kid in a candy store, That's the way I see it, but I would extend it even further than that. I would go to Survivor Series, and I would have Shane McMahon's commissioner job on the line. He's reinstated if he wins. If he loses, goodbye. He's gone. That's what I would do. So this storyline right now is taking precedent over everything else on SmackDown Live. Logic holes in this storyline, but I'm going to bypass it for now because I'm liking what they're doing. They're adding new layers to it. It's continuing on at a nice pace week by week, and I wish WWE would do this with other storylines on their shows. The only other storyline that I can think of that it's kind of slowed down a little bit right now, but the only other storyline that I can think of right now that is similar in the way it's been built is the stuff between Ambrose and Rollins. Now, right now, it's taking a back seat because right now they're tag team champions. But that other layer between Rollins and Ambrose isn't going to reveal itself until we see some animosity between those two guys. But right now, Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon is the top storyline on WWE television. Logic holes, plenty. But like I said, I'm going to bypass that and see where they go from here because I am enjoying it so far. Carmella and Natalya did have their match. Natalya wins with a roll-up because James Ellsworth dropped the briefcase as he jumped onto the apron. Referee thought that I think Carmella wanted to cash in. Carmella was saying no. She got distracted by James Ellsworth being a fucking idiot. So obviously from behind, Natalya rolls her up. 1, 2, 3, Natty beats Carmella. Carmella's got the briefcase. It's okay for her to lose, according to Vince McMahon. So Carmella is a loser on SmackDown Live. Post-match, Carmella says that James Ellsworthless is not even a human being. She calls him a genetic defect. Yes, those are the exact words that Carmella used to describe James Ellsworthless on SmackDown Live. So she has rid herself of James Ellsworth on SmackDown Live. He starts fucking crying in the middle of the ring, begging for Carmella to not leave. Carmella is on her own. They are done. So Carmella is now on her own. So James Ellsworth was verbally buried by Carmella. He can now join Roman Reigns in the verbally buried line for WWE employees. Please tell me how Roman Reigns is doing, Mr. Ellsworth. Very, very embarrassing for Ellsworth. I don't understand why this guy even has a contract, even to this day. Why they gave him a contract to begin with is amazing to me. You know? The amount of times that we've seen him on our television and wish that he was not is just overwhelming. So hopefully this leads to something where it slowly begins to build towards him just going away forever. Because he's not really needed on WWE television. He's a fucking embarrassment. He really is. If someone like that can have a job, I can have a job. Really. You can have a job on WWE television. Dolph Ziggler comes out. The reinvented, the re-debut of Dolph Ziggler. He came out to his original theme, came out to the same theme we've been hearing for years, and he's not wearing his jacket, comes out jacketless, comes out wearing his spandex tights with the American flag on him, and this was supposed to be a re-debut, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, what's going on? He's either going to say, I'm not re-debuting because whatever city that they're in, where the fuck are they? Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He was probably going to say, South Dakota doesn't deserve Dolph Ziggler. Or WWE was going to embarrass him in some way. He didn't say that Sioux Falls, South Dakota didn't deserve him. But WWE certainly did embarrass him. Ziggler says that no one appreciates what he can do in the ring. Absolutely. Just ask WWE. They don't appreciate Dolph Ziggler. I do. I've always appreciated Dolph Ziggler. These people would rather sit on their hands unsatisfied while he's there right in front of them, he says. The fans would rather have some dumb gimmick. So, Ziggler, and I predicted this, kinda, on Off the Script when we talked about Dolph Ziggler. I predicted that he would probably come out and do a doppelganger type deal where he wrestles, for example, Bobby Roode, and he'd come out wearing a glorious robe, and he'd do the same mannerisms as Bobby Roode, something along those lines. But WWE went one step further and embarrassed Dolph Ziggler even more so. Ziggler first comes out, and he bashes the crowd. He goes away, comes out, and all of a sudden John Cena's music starts playing on the PA system. He comes out wearing a John Cena hat and starts doing John Cena mannerisms to John Cena's music. So then he holds up a Cena hat to the camera and says, "Buy this baby." So he says, that didn't work. We can try this. He goes to the back again. Lights go out. And Macho Man's music hits the PA system. And he comes out with a very attractive looking female dressed in a white dress. He's wearing a Macho Man-esque robe. And he spins this woman, we'll call her Elizabeth, spins this woman around like Macho Man would spin Elizabeth around, making his entrance down the aisleway. That didn't work. So Ziggler has one more idea. This time, the lights go out again, and Naomi's music hits, and they got Dolph Ziggler dressed in fucking dreads, mimicking Naomi's entrance. I couldn't believe my fucking eyes. So Ziggler says that didn't work either. None of this works. So it's the fans' fault, not his. And he is done. So what did WWE accomplish here? Number one, they embarrassed Dolph Ziggler to the point where I'm embarrassed to be a fan of WWE programming at this point. I feel so terrible for Dolph Ziggler. Bro, I hope you listen to Off the Script, bro. Please do what I said. Please do what I said. I don't know if your contract is up in October. People were telling me on Twitter that he re-upped for 3 years in 2015. Whatever the fucking case may be. Ask for your release. They gave it to Cody, right? They gave it to Cody, so I'm pretty sure they do it to you as well. You know, or maybe not. Maybe they just fuck you over. But whenever your contract is up, bro, listen. Go call Nick and Matt Jackson, okay? I am not a Bullet Club savant. I don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, but the idea of you and Kenny Omega battling it out for the IWGP United States Championship gives everybody a nice little hard-on in their pants. So please go do so, bro. I'm sure Nick and Matt Jackson would welcome you with open arms. Now, some people are saying that they don't really need another member in the Bullet Club. Who the fuck cares? It's Dolph Ziggler. You want to align yourself with the best? That's what you do. Ziggler is one of the best at what he does. The Bullet Club is the biggest stable in all of professional wrestling. There you go, a match made in heaven. The other thing that WWE did during this segment is pretty much tell you, the fan, that gimmicks are fucking garbage. That's what they told you. WWE, during this particular segment, pretty much admitted to everybody that it's a joke that gimmicks take precedent over actual in-ring talent. That a gimmick is all you need. A cool theme music is all you need. A good entrance is all you need to get over with the WWE fans. That's what they're admitting to you. Now, I don't know why they blatantly did that. You know, underneath all this bullshit and embarrassment from Dolph Ziggler, or for Dolph Ziggler, that was the coding in tonight's segment. Gimmicks take precedent over in-ring talent. If you got all the talent in the world, you're garbage. Look at Dolph Ziggler. We don't want nothing to do with you. But if you got a cool-looking theme, or a cool-looking entrance, or a cool-sounding theme, that's what's going to get you over. And the fans don't know any better. Sioux Falls, South Dakota don't know any better. What the fuck do you guys do down there in South Dakota? You got tractor races every Sunday at fucking 3 p.m.? They don't know any better, bro. Come on. Bullshit, man. Ziggler needs to distance himself from WWE and fast. Someone else who needs to distance himself from WWE, period, especially SmackDown Live, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was treated like shit on Monday Night Raw. We all jumped for joy, cohesively, when he was moved over to SmackDown Live, because SmackDown Live is the land of opportunity. Needless to say, Sami Zayn is finding out firsthand that SmackDown Live is the land of stupidity. Sami Zayn gets his rematch with Aiden English. Was it a rematch? Of course not. Sami Zayn lost in 1 minute to a roll-up to Aiden English. Now, I don't know what the fuck Sami Zayn did to piss somebody off. I don't know why people don't find value in Sami Zayn outside of what he is now. I don't know why people find Sami Zayn to be boring. Sami Zayn, if you go watch NXT, how can anyone say this guy is boring? Go watch the match with Nakamura and tell me the guy is fucking boring. What are you, out of your fucking mind? Are you fucking stupid? NXT booked him perfectly as the underdog. The underdog of the underground. Now he's the fucking loser. He's not even underground. He's in the fucking, he's 6 feet underground. Underdog of the underground. He's the underdog of the underworld because he's 6 feet buried. Fucking asshole. What the fuck's going on here? You know? At this point, trade him down to NXT and give me a Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre match, or a Sami Zayn Roderick Strong match, or a Sami Zayn Adam Cole match. Something. Make a mid-card title and have Sami Zayn be the fucking flag bearer for the new mid-card title in NXT. Because he ain't doing shit on SmackDown Live. Holy shit. At this point, if I'm Sami Zayn, I'm tapping Dolph Ziggler on the shoulder and coming up with a plan about how to get the fuck away from WWE. You know? At this point, Sami Zayn would probably have more value in Titus Catering than he does on SmackDown Live. You know? Sami Zayn has some fine china at home, I hear. Could be very useful for Titus Catering. Maybe. I don't know. Aiden English beats Sami Zayn in 1 minute. Garbage. Post-match, Aiden English tries to sing because he was interrupted, and Sami Zayn chases him off. We got the New Day wearing underwear on SmackDown Live. Exactly what I want to see. Usos come in, and they have the New Day, Daniel Bryan in between, and the Usos. So Daniel Bryan says that it's time for the Usos to come up with their stipulation because they won that fantastic, exhilarating 2-minute match last week. Yeah, the same match that they had last week that ended in 2 minutes after they had a 20-minute match, which could have been match of the night at SummerSlam. Usos state that they want a Las Vegas street fight for the tag team titles next week on SmackDown Live. I would not be shocked if WWE does another title switch next week. That's just me. So the Usos versus the New Day in a Las Vegas street fight for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. By the way, one thing I want to make mention because it's in my notes here. When Daniel Bryan came out to address the WWE Universe about Shane McMahon's suspension, Daniel Bryan came out with absolutely no theme music. It was not time for Yes Chants. We didn't hear the epic score that is Daniel Bryan's music. He came out to no music, old school, to kind of play up to the situation about how serious the situation was. Attention to detail is something that I greatly appreciate. So that was a nice little touch. Jinder Mahal doesn't care who he faces next week, and I don't care for Jinder Mahal. You don't care, I don't care. Get the fucking title off of him. Ty Dillinger versus Baron Corbin. Ty Dillinger, the perfect loser on SmackDown Live. He can join Dolph Ziggler and Sami Zayn as helpless fucking souls on SmackDown Live. Titus Catering could have the greatest stable of fucking all time if they actually put their brain to it. Ty Dillinger and Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin beat Ty Dillinger with the End of Days, which is still, even though Baron Corbin's a fucking loser right now, still the best finisher in all WWE. Beat Ty Dillinger with the End of Days. Ty Dillinger was still very upset about how he had his United States Championship match with AJ Styles ruined. So Corbin hits Ty Dillinger at the end of the match, hits him in the throat. AJ, who was on commentary during this match, started yelling cheap shot, and then the End of Days was delivered because Ty Dillinger was hit in the throat illegally. So Ty Dillinger loses. Post-match, AJ walks into Ty Dillinger in the back and states that he wants to put the United States Championship on the line in a U.S. Open Challenge, and that the only person the U.S. Open Challenge is available to next week is Ty Dillinger. They shake hands, and a U.S. Championship match was made for next week. Road Dogg, I'm going to tell you this once, and I'm going to tell you this only once. You got my ear, you got my eyes for this, okay? If I see Baron Corbin anywhere in this match, I will fucking verbally crucify you on next week's review. I'm telling you right now. WWE has an opportunity here after wasting this guy already for months since coming up from NXT. You got an opportunity to build Ty Dillinger and legitimize him. You give these guys 20 fucking minutes for the United States Championship, and Ty Dillinger will be made into a star. You give me a 20-minute match between Dillinger and AJ Styles for the United States Championship. Whether he wins, loses, or draws, it doesn't fucking matter. Let the chains off. Don't ball and chain these guys. Let them go out there and tear the fucking house down for 20 minutes for the United States Championship in the main event of SmackDown Live. Whether Ty Dillinger wins, loses, or draws, he's in a match with AJ Styles. AJ Styles will make him look like a superstar. That's all I want. I don't give a fuck if Ty Dillinger loses. I don't care if he wins the title. I don't care. He's in there with AJ Styles. I don't want to see Baron Corbin anywhere near this fucking match. Let these guys deliver a great match, and if you want to have Corbin interfere, have him do it at the end, when a pinfall is made. That's all I want to see. If I see anything that is not that, I will verbally thrash SmackDown Live, like I always do, but you in particular, for booking such fucking garbage. Ty Dillinger has an opportunity to be made and legitimized next week for the first time on SmackDown Live since being called up from NXT. Do not fuck it up. Do not. Don't understand the fucking NXT burials on this show. You know? Sami Zayn, buried. Rusev, buried. Ty Dillinger, buried. Fuck's going on here? Jesus Christ. Bobby Roode, not on the show. That's okay. You know, I told you I was going to talk about it. Bobby Roode being away from SmackDown Live for 1 week is fine. It's fine. We don't need to see the glorious entrance every fucking week. I don't think Sioux Falls, South Dakota, being that they barely sung along with Nakamura's theme song would have did any justice to Bobby Roode, so it really doesn't fucking matter. Having Bobby Roode away from SmackDown Live for a week or two is not going to do anything. You know, he's not in anything major right now. We don't need to see Bobby Roode. He's not in a title feud. He's not in a feud. So it's okay. Just keep him in people's minds with video packages. Fine. Ellsworth runs into Carmella begging for her to take him back. Carmella says from now on they're doing things her way. And she makes a lot of 13-year-old prepubescent teens jealous because James Ellsworth got action and you didn't. She kisses Ellsworth very passionately, which I'm assuming didn't make Big Cass all that happy as he's fucking laid up with a bum leg. And then she slaps him across the mouth, slapping the taste out of his fucking mouth. So she kisses him and then she slaps the taste out of her mouth, out of his mouth, her mouth, whatever, his mouth, its mouth. Fucking alien-looking motherfucker, Ellsworthless. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm assuming this is all going to lead to James Ellsworth pretty much ruining Carmella and having her cash in and lose the briefcase. So that's that. And then we got Nakamura and Randy Orton in the main event. The winner gets Jinder Mahal in Hell in a Cell. I'm assuming in Hell in a Cell. Who's watching in a skybox because that's what royalty does, apparently. You know? I wish he'd fall from the fucking sky and just disappear completely. Jinder Mahal. Was that a little bit too harsh? I don't think so. Get him off my television, man. The threat of the RKO coming out of nowhere is what is the selling point of this match. So, I mean, what do you want me to say about it? Really, what do you want me to say about it? It wasn't built up to anything. There was no build. The winner is fighting Jinder inside, I'm assuming, Hell in a Cell, right? So now we got Shinsuke Nakamura, who you could probably say, hasn't really been booked to potential, but he's been booked strong outside that fucking stupid ending at SummerSlam, right, where he lost. Should have never lost. Now he's beaten John Cena, and tonight he's beaten Randy Orton. So Shinsuke Nakamura has, realistically, 2 wins over 2 of the biggest names in WWE. Realistically, he's got a win over the number 1 man and the number 2 man. Because Randy Orton is a number 2. He's more number 2 than Roman Reigns. No question. No question. You look at the status of WWE talent on the roster. Who's at the top of the food chain? It's Randy Orton and John Cena. That's number 1 and 2. Cena and Orton. So Nakamura wins with a Kinshasa. Corey Graves couldn't wait to break out his signature Kinshasa call. And listen, if that's not in the fucking game this year, I'm going to be very disappointed. But Nakamura wins with a Kinshasa, and I will say this. It was a very, very good match. I know both men are very capable of doing much, much more, which I would have loved to seen. That realistically should have been the match at SummerSlam. Rusev, I would have never booked for SummerSlam. Rusev was booked. I mean, you look back at it, right? It was supposed to be Rusev and Randy Orton. What type of feud was that? It was nothing. Realistically, it was nothing. I don't think that. I mean, I doubt WWE is going to go back and revisit that. For what? For what? 9 seconds. You have Rusev job in 9 seconds at SummerSlam when you could have kept Rusev off the card and you could have booked Randy Orton versus Shinsuke Nakamura at SummerSlam. That's what I would have did. I would have booked Cena versus Mahal. I would have had Baron Corbin kept off the fucking show. I would have had him cash in and win the briefcase. You could have reworked things a little bit differently for SummerSlam. Randy Orton versus Shinsuke Nakamura is a big-time pay-per-view match. These 2 guys are worth a lot more than that. These guys can do a lot more than what we've seen tonight. It was just a taste of what we could see from both of these guys. Nakamura wins with the Kinshasa. So this makes Nakamura now a winner over Randy Orton and John Cena clean. You mean to tell me that if this guy goes into a match with Jinder Mahal, he's not logically the right winner? You mean to tell me that if he beat Nakamura or if he beat Orton and Cena, that he can't beat Jinder Mahal, even with those 2 fucking goons running around at ringside? Come on, bro. Come on. The only thing here that needs to happen is Nakamura winning the title, get the fucking title off Jinder Mahal, and have Nakamura hold it till WrestleMania, and then drop it to AJ Styles. That's what needs to happen. And then Mahal can probably be shifted over to the United States Championship, and then we can trade the U.S. Championship for the Intercontinental Championship in a Superstar Shakeup, put Jinder on Raw, have him work directly under Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon loves his fucking huge steroid-esque bodybuilder types. He can go over there on Monday Night Raw, and we can get the IC title back on SmackDown Live. That's what I do. That's what I do. But that was your SmackDown Live, man. Nakamura is the number one contender. I was kind of hoping that Nakamura would lose, because I don't want to see WWE book Nakamura inside a Hell in a Cell with Jinder Mahal. I really don't. The feud doesn't call for it. No matter what they do from here on out, the feud is not going to be built up with the intensity where Hell in a Cell is going to be needed. You know, at least with Randy Orton, even though we've seen it 4 fucking times already, Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal at least have a reason and a feud built enough to be inside Hell in a Cell. With Nakamura, I don't think so. With Nakamura, I don't think so. But you know WWE's going to go that route because they don't know any better. And they think, ooh, look, the fans, they want to see Hell in a Cell. Let's put Nakamura and Jinder Mahal in there. No. But if Jinder Mahal wins the title, I would take that and kind of limit my complaining just a tad. So hopefully Nakamura is the new WWE champion after all of this bullshit, and we have a decent title reign with him, bringing legitimacy back to the title, and then hold it till WrestleMania, only to drop it to the only man on this show that deserves a fucking championship shot, which is AJ Styles. Because right now, you look at the landscape of WWE, there's not really anybody screaming to you, oh, I want to see him as WWE champion. There's nobody. It's Randy Orton and AJ Styles. There's nobody else on this show that you want to see as WWE champion. So who's it going to be? It's either Nakamura wins it or Jinder Mahal holds it till fucking God knows when. And then we're the fortunate fucking victims of a Jinder Mahal title reign that lasts all the way till WrestleMania. Oh my God, I better get out of here before I give WWE any ideas, man. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm JD. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed the review, hit that thumbs up. And I'll be back with more WWE content right here on the channel. We got a bunch of shit coming this week. So much, I don't even know what the fuck's going on, man. But keep an eye and an ear on the channel. Hit that thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow for NXT and a live stream with the reactions for NXT, man. Thank you guys so much and have a great Tuesday night. I will see you all tomorrow for more WWE content.